Hi guys, Artie here, and have you realized that ever since the past decade or so, Adult Swim has become less of a small experimental culty block, and rather growing more mainstream and competing with other comedy networks such as FXX and Comedy Central? It feels like they've become more corporate and focused on capturing the widest audience possible, the latter not necessarily being a bad thing, since unlike Cartoon Network, they don't only pander to a specific audience at the expense of everyone else. The most likely explanation is that they're trying to appeal to a more broad demographic due to the fading viewership and decline of cable TV, or possibly trying to bridge Adult Swim and Cartoon Network closer together, like how it was until 2003. There's a wide array of shows to watch every night. Every month or so, they change up what will air during the overnight. So there's always something new and something for everyone. There's not a specific starting point of when Adult Swim drifted away from being an indie-style network in favor of being more mainstream, but I would estimate it to be around 2014, when they expanded to the 8 p.m. hour, and Rick and Morty was their newfound success. It became one of their most popular shows ever, even more than Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The lineup structure since then is starting out the night with tame shows such as home movies, and more importantly, the mild Fox cartoons, especially King of the Hill. Then as the night goes on, the content increasingly becomes more explicit. By midnight, they get around to showing Adult Swim originals. Then around 3 or 4 a.m. is when they start showing some crazy and outlandish shit like the Eric Andre Show and Mr. Pickles. Nearly a decade later in 2023, the final nail in the coffin was not only expanding to the 5 p.m. hour, when it's still daylight, but also moving Cartoon Network's family-oriented ACME Night movie block to Adult Swim, which a good majority of viewers believe just does not fit the network. Even after the migration, ACME Night continued to air children's animated films, family movies, and renowned blockbuster hits that just don't catch the vibe of Adult Swim's cynical, absurdist feel. To be fair, they have made an effort to air a few films more in line with Adult Swim's tone and style of humor, such as the original 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but they have been far and few between. Their main focus as of now seems to be popular hit movies, and occasionally the Futurama direct-to-video films, and they've drifted away from kids' movies. Think about it. As of 2024, Adult Swim has more hours than Cartoon Network. At this point, Adult Swim seems to be the main channel, and Cartoon Network is just the kids block. I'm surprised they haven't made the decision to make the block 24 hours and finally split off from CN. If they did launch their own separate 24-hour network, it would probably take the place of True TV, or hell, maybe even CN's channel space and move CN to Boomerang. Whenever Checkered Past, Toonami Rewind, or ACME Night doesn't have the spotlight during the evening, usually it's dedicated to the very popular Fox shows that are also playing on other channels like American Dad, King of the Hill, and Bob's Burgers. American Dad and Bob's Burgers seem to air a lot. I was hoping after they lost the rights to Family Guy in 2021, they would make an effort to prioritize original content instead of relying on imported and syndicated shows. American Dad is a good show, but I don't want to watch it for 2 hours straight. Why don't they air each Fox show for half an hour? King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, Futurama, and American Dad, in that order, and then maybe an hour of Rick and Morty, and then show original shows for the rest of the night. And of course air Bob's Burgers or home movies at 5 a.m. before Cartoon Network signs on, so kids and teenagers can also watch it when getting ready for school. Another thing I want to point out is that from the start of the channel, they used to save shows that were cancelled too soon from other networks, and they don't really seem to do that anymore either. The only reason Family Guy, Futurama, and to an extent home movies went on for so long is because of Adult Swim, and also DVD sales played a contributing factor. They no longer seem to do this, and mainly stick to their own productions, as well as the Fox shows that are already successful as it is. Despite Adult Swim acting more as a conventional network these days, there is still a silver lining to this, maybe even gold lining. Their most popular show at the moment is Smiling Friends, and it was #1 on HBO Max for a while. If you have not seen it, it's a very bizarre yet hilarious show that has such a unique style of humor that's never been seen on television. Basically, it's a small group of people, but mostly focused on Charlie and Pim, whose job it is to make unhappy people smile and improve their circumstances. Some of the episodes are completely indescribable, but I definitely recommend you check it out. Why it's important is that it recaptures the absurd magic of what made early Adult Swim so remarkable. Not just that, but it could easily be one of the best cartoons of the 2020s decade, and has been overwhelmingly popular, just like how big Rick and Morty was in the mid to late 2010s. Smiling Friends seems to be their next big thing, so hopefully they'll return to making more shows in that same style. In summary, Adult Swim has moved on from being a small late-night block with a unique sense of humor, storytelling, and cult following, and is now something much bigger. They went from broadcasting a few hours a night when they first launched, to broadcasting for 13 hours, more than Cartoon Network does now. They've pretty much taken over the channel. They even took a few of their shows with them to air on the Checkered Past block. The main contributing factor to these changes are the changing media landscape, as well as mostly older viewers tuning into CN during the evening hours being the main reason Adult Swim starts earlier now. So yes, they've become more mainstream in certain aspects. Not to say Adult Swim is a bad channel now, because that's obviously not true, but they seem to have lost the original magic and charm of what made the block so special in the first place. I believe appealing to a wider demographic isn't a bad thing because then there's something for everybody. Classic cartoons on Checkered Past, anime on Toonami, the Fox adult animated shows for the more casual viewers, more action-oriented shows on weekend nights, the wacky late-night shows for the teens and young adults staying up all night, and of course, ACME Night, which is aimed at everyone. Compare this to the start of the channel in 2001, where they only aired original programming, adult animated shows from other networks that didn't last long, and a few anime. Despite all the changes throughout the years, the main demographic seems to be the same. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, notify, and check out other videos on the channel. You may like them. Do you think Adult Swim is mainstream now, or do they still have their magic touch? Let me know in the comments. Okay, asshole.